All right, Sarah, how surprised were you by the outcome?
Very surprised. Very surprised. I mean, this was the Boston Celtics team that we were talking about all offseason that was picking up 2 All-Stars after going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So just a tremendous job by Boston and what they were able to do on the defensive end, the connectivity that we understood, the game plan by Brad Stevens. I think there's been times throughout the course of this year where there has been wavering support of how good of a coach really is he. Did we overblow the things that he's done throughout the course of the past couple seasons? But Al Horford is the linchpin. I mean, he is the linchpin of this team on both ends of the floor, the way in which he can organize what they were able to do. But I think more than anything that was impressive, their boxes and elbows, they showed a crowd. But against Giannis, it wasn't just about eliminating what he was able to do. It was the late help situations. It was giving different looks, showing different players, because they also negated Sterling Brown, Eric Bledsoe, Brook Lopez.
Pat Connaughton was terrible.
But a lot of that, too, they weren't even getting the touches and looks. So more often than not, the common thought is, okay, let Giannis get his and make sure you take away the others or force the others to beat you. And they did both of those things. And so I expect a very different look from Milwaukee. I don't think that this writes off the series and the Celtics are going to run away with this one. I'm still picking Milwaukee. I do think that Giannis comes back with a big game, but I just thought
I don't know,
some
Sarah.
of the
Paul Pierce said it's over. He said
Paul
the series
Pierce
is
says
over.
If Paul Pierce says it, the Celtics legend. But I was very impressed with the game plan, the execution. But that's a lot of the Celtics that we have known, given the personnel that they have and the way in which Brad Stevens laid things out for us guys.
I was absolutely dumbfounded by this game because nobody does this to Milwaukee, and nobody does this to Giannis. Giannis has 4 two-point baskets. Are you kidding me? That's a good half a quarter for Giannis this year. The way Al Horford and Baines in fewer possessions just dominated the guy who's going to win league MVP, to me was as impressive of a defense. That first quarter, I tweeted it and I believe it, that first quarter they put together against Milwaukee was the best defensive quarter we might see in the playoffs all year. Like what they did, and Giannis never, even after that quarter, got comfortable. Milwaukee actually, they fell down 15 points in the second quarter. They went on a 15-0 run. They went on most of that run with Giannis on the bench. They actually got in their flow without Giannis out there. You felt, or at least I felt, man, with the way they weathered Boston's punch in the first half, they're down a couple at halftime. Now Giannis will get going, and Milwaukee will do what they're supposed to do, which is win game 1 at home. But it only got worse from there. They only had 1 solid quarter the whole game, did Milwaukee. That was the second quarter. The Celtics deserve enormous credit for everything they did in this game. Their offense has gotten better every single game of the playoffs, and their defense has remained elite. It was surprising to me Boston won. It was shocking that it was an annihilation the way it was.
Yeah, it was shocking that it was a blowout. But Brad Stevens, as you mentioned, you have to give him a lot of credit right from the beginning. Right since they won the Pacers series 4-0, he put Marcus Morris in the lineup. Most people didn't know it. The Bucks weren't expecting it. But every practice that they've practiced, he was the starting 4. So they moved your guy, Al Horford, to the 5. We saw in last year's playoff, Joel Embiid rolling through the playoff, had tremendous problems with Al Horford. There are guys that when you match up with them, they give you problems. It's not about athletic ability. It's about smarts. It's about body position. It's about not letting you get to your spot. Giannis had, what, 1 dunk?
Yeah.
1 dunk. If you were able to hold him, and he had the most dunks unassisted since Shaq played in the league, you're taking away one of the huge weapons. The other thing that they did, compared to what the Pistons tried to do, they allowed Giannis to get the ball at the 3-point line, get a full head of steam by playing off of him in the lane. No, they engaged him at 18 feet. They loaded up the defense where at least 6 eyeballs, that defender and 2 other defenders on that side of the court would be loaded up to be able to stop him. Those were the things that Brad Stevens and the Celtics did. Now, they're going to load up the defense again. Giannis is going to still have to be able to hit some shots, but I think initially, if he becomes the playmaker, because they had open shots at the beginning of the game that they didn't hit.
But to me, if we would have said Giannis was 3 of 5 from the three-point line prior to the game, you would have thought, oh, Milwaukee ran away with this one. To your point, though, and that's always the question about a player like Giannis. We talk about this with Ben Simmons. Where do you pick him up? Because his strength isn't the outside shooting. Do you get him early? And that's where I think, for as much credit goes towards Al Horford and to Aaron Baines for the job they did, it's a collective effort by the Boston team. Because if everyone wasn't back ready to help, if everyone wasn't engaged in where they needed to be on the rotations, on the help, that job doesn't get done on
How do you think the Bucks adjust now? What are you going to see? What do you expect to see from Giannis?
I think and I'm going to be interested to see how the rotations go. So you mentioned the fact that Marcus Morris starts. A big part of that, moving Al Horford to the 5, also was helping Boston on the offensive end because they took advantage of Brook Lopez with Al Horford.
Yes, that pick
in the
and pop.
Pick and pop.
Yep.
And so there's going to be some chess match between these two and how you utilize those guys on both ends of the floor, given going small for Boston or going big. I think for Milwaukee, they also missed a lot of shots that they're going to typically
miss. That's why I don't think Milwaukee's going to change their starting lineup. I don't think Milwaukee's going to overreact. During those highlights of Giannis misses, yes, there's the one play where Horford gets 2 blocks on one play. A lot of those misses also, despite everyone being packed in there, he gets to the rim, and there's a block, and the next one, you see it, there's the double block right there. All the other highlights here, Giannis gets where he wants to get to, and he usually makes those shots. That one there, the one you're about to see right here, this is a shot Giannis has made all year long. And so he usually makes his shots. Boston shot.
Look how much further from the rim that they're engaging him.
Oh, yeah,
He
absolutely.
is not getting to the bankboard, and he is not able to be able to dunk the ball to be able to finish it.
Right. He's not getting his dunks, right, which has been a huge part of his game.
And he's in that uncomfortable 5 to 7 feet, and he's not able to get off the ground. The extra body contact that they allow you in the postseason, you can start to see that work out.
But the reason I don't think Milwaukee's going to overreact is they know that Boston in this game had their best shooting game they've had since the All-Star break. They also know that, okay, Bledsoe 1 of 5, Sterling 1 of 7, Lopez 1 of 5, Connaughton 2 of 10, and Giannis 4 of 16 from 2. Part of that is great Boston defense. Part of that is guys missing open shots. That I think Milwaukee's going to be fine, but they are now in a dogfight where Boston's the only team that hasn't lost in the postseason. They feel great about how they're playing.
This is the first time that they miss Malcolm Brogdon. And you can start to see it. George Hill playing almost 30 minutes. Kyrie could get where he wanted to. And they don't have an answer for Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward hurt Milwaukee. So you're talking about, oh, they're going to make shots. They're going to have to make some adjustments to some of the things that Boston was very effective at.
And I also think it was a very different jump of a series from Detroit in what they were facing. I think they need to notch it up.
But it was for Boston as well after the Pacers series.
Yep.
All right, Sarah, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.